Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to the Dre B. Rambo Show. I am your host, Dre B. Rambo. We are in the studio. I don't have a cool name for the studio yet, but I'm sure eventually I will come up with something. So, lots going on today. Today is Saturday, March 16th, 7:30 in the morning. I had to actually look at the calendar right now because usually days are a blur for me, just like they used to be. So one thing we got going on today is we got a tournament. We have East LA Jiu Jitsu is having a friendly tournament over in East Los Angeles at their studio, where they are a nonprofit organization that is held by Ron. I don't know Ron's last name, but if you know what Ron's last name is, drop it down in the comment section. Ron and his wife, good people. They do this nonprofit. They are a part of Ethos, which is, I believe, in Brea. And they've started this nonprofit out there probably a couple of years ago now, it seems. Feels brand new, but I'm pretty sure it's a couple of years old. I did do a tournament over there once with one of their brown belts. I will be competing against that very same brown belt. His name's Dustin Stolberg, I believe his name is. Nice guy. We had a really tough tournament the last time I saw him. This is an opportunity for him to get a rematch. We ended up finishing 2-1. He beat me the first round by points, I believe. And then I was able to get 2 submissions on round 2 and 3 because it was just the 2 of us in the bracket. Like I said, it's a small, friendly tournament with the East LA Jiu Jitsu team. So we'll be going at each other again this time. And we'll see what happens. So I'm going to go out there and represent my school, which is Tillis MMA out in city of Whittier. And, you know, I never really look forward to tournaments because they're just so very intense for me, you know. Some people, and people who surprise me, actually, you know, you get a lot of new guys and then eventually turn blue. But these guys do tons of tournaments. I mean, it's like they're fearless. I did a lot of tournaments as a white belt, but I never liked it. The waiting around, the adrenaline and all the, you know, you just want to get it over with. And, you know, you're worried about, you know, if you're going to do good, if you're going to win the bracket, all kinds of stuff, you know, always worried about, you know, what's going to happen. And I just stopped competing as much as I used to as a white and blue. You know, as soon as I hit blue belt, you know, I competed quite a bit as a blue belt, if I remember correctly. But as soon as I turned purple, forget it. It was like a couple. I did like maybe 2 as a purple belt, 2 or 3. And then as a brown belt, I've only done about maybe 2 or 3 as a brown belt. So one thing I'm going to start doing is doing more competitions. I have a lot going on in my life right now. A lot that I'll be discussing tomorrow. You know, it's particularly what's going on with my family and stuff. And so one thing I really want to do is start getting out there more, doing more tournaments. A lot of these guys that do tournaments at my gym and they do them often, you know, really motivate me to get out there and do some more and not worry so much about how I perform, but just go out there and overcome. Because the one thing about doing tournaments that, just for me, it's just my perspective, obviously, has been, you know, just getting out there on the mats is hard enough. I mean, I feel like a winner just getting out there because so few people do it. And it's really tough mentally to get out there. It's not the same as when you're in the studio, in the gym, when you're training with your partners. I mean, physically it's the same, but mentally it's different. It's a mental game for me. And because I'm going to go out there and I'm going to perform, you know, once you're in it, you're in it. And it's all psychological at that point. I mean, I've had matches where I lost by points. Usually I lose by points. It's rare that I've only been tapped out in a tournament maybe once or twice. And it's usually because, I just gave up. My heart wasn't in it or whatever. I don't really think it was, this guy was so much better than me that he tapped me. And so being out there and competing is one of those things that I think everybody should do. It's important as part of, training and getting, stepping up your game and things like that. But the mental battle is something that never changes for me. Some people, it might get easier with time, doing more tournaments, and things like that. Maybe it gets easier for them mentally. But for me, it never did. Every time I was there, I was like, man, I've done so many of these now. You think I'd be less tense and, less whatever, stressed out about the whole thing. But that never changed for me. So today when I go, I'm still going to experience that same anxiety. I always do. I always experience anxiety when I do these tournaments. And I've wrestled against this guy before, and he's good. I mean, he's a brown belt, obviously. He's good. And tough, but I'm tough. I'm also tough. And so, but I will never know that unless I get out there and go and do some tournaments. And so what I really want to do this year is do as many tournaments as I can, because whether I get my brown belt someday or not, I'm never going to stop training. And I know eventually, the black belt is going to come. I mean, it could be next year. It could be 10 years from now. Who knows? But on that road, I got to be in it. I got to be in it. This is the only time I'm going to be a brown belt in my life. I like being a brown belt because you're not a black belt yet, so the expectations of you being a black belt are not there. And you're a brown belt, and you're able to, I go against black belts, brown belts, white belts. I mean, I get white belts that are tough, and I could think of a few guys that just got their blues, and I'm like, man, that guy gives me a hard time, sometimes I get more hard times with the blue belts than I do with the black belts. I mean, there are black, obviously, black belts, is a different level, but, those blue belts, man, they're gunning for you. They're really coming for you, and they want you. And it's probably the same thing with me with the black belts. I'm a brown belt, but, when I get with a black belt, I'm coming after them. I want their belt, and it's not, I want to take their belt, but I'm trying to step up my game. And the way I see it is everybody should have partners of different levels of belts. I do see sometimes, and it's not very often, but I see it sometimes, where people will avoid lower level belts, and they'll say because they don't want to get hurt. But you got to have those lower belts, especially when you're a blue belt. If you're a blue belt, you got to roll with a lot of white belts. You got to beat the crap out of a lot of white belts. When I was coming up and I was training, I did everything I could to roll with everybody. We got some black belts that come into our gym on open mat days, and they just want to train with us because we're a tough gym. I mean, there's no doubt about that. We have tough guys from every level, white all the way up to black. And when I see outside black belts come in, I always call them out because I like to roll with those guys, not because I know I can learn a lot from them. I know I can test myself with those guys. And, they're usually just like, nah, la da da dee, la da 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 da. They ain't tripping. I mean, they know they can handle me, or, they're going to be able to defend themselves against me. And sometimes they don't. But I like to get those guys when they come on the mat. But I also like to get me some white belts and blue belts. Even though I'm a brown, I still like to get me some blue and white because, first of all, they're tough. There's tough ones out there. I was a tough white belt. I was a tough blue belt. And so I know that there's lots of them out there. I mean, it's rare. I mean, I've seen white belts go from like being very frail and timid to walking around the gym like they the baddest thing that ever walked the planet on jiu-jitsu, And I love that because it's like, they go from having this very soft, very not broken, but just, not a lot of confidence and timid, and they're very timid. And then 6 months later, they're walking around like they're G's, and because they are, they've got themselves to a point where they're just like really, really able to. They're killers now. They train every single day. A lot of these kids, man, they don't have jobs, or if they do have jobs, it works with their schedule so they can go to all the classes, and they just get good fast. And then they walk around like they're G's, and I love that. I love to see, people come to jiu-jitsu and get the benefits of becoming a new human being. I mean, that happened for me. When I started training jiu-jitsu, man, I'm still a very broken person, but I was, most people don't realize just how broken I actually am. I'm very broken. But I was even more broken. I was on the sauce, smoking pot every day, just a miserable human being. And man, I was 250 pounds. I mean, I'm not that much lighter right now. I'm 220 pounds right now, but I was at 250 pounds of pure chub. Right now, 220 pounds of pure, mass and solid rock, But I came into that gym, man, and I almost quit. I actually almost quit after my first month because I have a habit of quitting, and I still do, and that's the part of the problem that I have mentally is trying to figure out how do I stop quitting. And so I went into this gym, and it was no Attilas MMA. I had gone to Gracie Baja a couple of times the year before I started training. I went for a month, quit. I went for another month, quit because I couldn't stop smoking cigarettes. And I remember I went to Noah Tillis, to that gym, the MMA gym, and I didn't exactly hit it off with anybody, but I went there. I liked the atmosphere. It was a very small gym. It was cheaper, actually. It was just cheaper, and it had a great atmosphere. Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't. It still does. I mean, that's why the gym has grown so much. It's because it has a great atmosphere. And the people are amazing, and that's from the coach. The coach sets that up, and it trickles down. If you have a bad coach, and if your coach is a jerk or anything like that, then that's going to show down below. And so I went to this gym broken as hell, and I remember I went through my first month, and I did pretty good, but I was fat, and I just out of shape, and I was unhappy, miserable. And I was about to quit. After my first month. I was about to quit, and I was just about to throw in the towel. But then the coach ran. He charged me for my next month, and I was about to tell him, hey man, I don't think this is gonna work out. Whatever, just take my credit card off the thing, and I quit. But before I had a chance to call him and do that, he swiped the card and billed me for another month of jiu-jitsu. I was like, crap, man. Now I gotta go do another month, man. Like I just spent this $150. I gotta, or whatever it is he charged me. I think it was 120 actually. And I was just like, man, fine. I'll do another month. And I'm so grateful for that because I never stopped going since. I've been going every day since. And that was my 38th birthday when I started. I'm 45 now, believe it or not. I know you look at me and you think, dang, 25. But nah, man, I'm 45 years old and, still doing it and still competing at, I feel, a high level. I mean, I'm not Abu Dhabi level, but I mean, I think I do pretty good. And anywhere I go, I get mine, I get my respect and go out there and do my best. And, as I get older, I mean, when I was 38 to 40, I felt great. I mean, I was doing really good. I mean, I was only like a white and a blue belt at that time. But man, I felt amazing. And, as you get older, and, I'm only 45, but I mean, but probably the biggest problem is my eating habits are really bad. But, I started starting to feel all the arthritis in my fingers and my elbows. And I actually already had arthritis in my elbows or tendonitis or whatever. But, I wouldn't change it for anything. I wouldn't have changed this long journey that I've been on for the last 7.5 years, for anything. I mean, like a lot of guys, I wish I did it sooner. A lot of people always say that. And of course I said that too, I was like, man, I wish I would have started this when I was a kid. I see kids, they're like my buddy has a son. He's only like, I don't know, 8 years old. He's amazing already. He's already amazing. Little James, man. This guy's a little beast. And, sometimes, and it makes me happy to see that, and that he's got his whole life. This whole life, lifetimes of training and getting good. I mean, this kid's going to take it somewhere, I wouldn't be surprised we see him in the UFC, to be honest with you. And, sometimes I look back on my life and I think to myself, man, I wish that it would have been available to me. I remember, when Royce Gracie, went against Dan Severn back in UFC like 5 or something like that. And I remember like, man, jiu-jitsu looks fun. But at that time, man, I didn't have a car. I was just, I was a young kid, a young man, probably a man already, but very young. And, I didn't have a car. I didn't have a job, no money, because I was a scumbag. I didn't have anything going on for me. And, in the closest gyms that I could figure out, I don't even know if the internet was around at that time. It probably was, but I'm always late to the game. Everybody knows what's going on way before I do. But I remember looking for a school and I just wasn't going to find one. I mean, the closest one I could find was far away, like in Huntington Beach or something like that, or in Long Beach and other places. We didn't really actually have one in Whittier where I live, or anywhere that I knew of in the surrounding areas. Or maybe I just didn't look hard enough. Who knows? Point was I didn't do it. And because I didn't know what I was missing. And I remember for years, like even like from the years leading up to when I actually started, I knew other people who were doing it, because it was by that time I was already in Whittier. But for me, it was just I'm a drunk. I'm a waster. And I just wasn't, it's the same thing like with people when it comes to going to church, it's like, I'll go to church when I get my life together, and, or when I stop doing this or stop doing that. And, it's not time yet, it's not time, there is no right time. And it's just like jiu-jitsu, going to church, to me, same thing. You go and you let jiu-jitsu or you let Jesus rub off on you. You go, and you just go. Even if you're smoking, I went to church and to jiu-jitsu classes stoned out of my mind. I just went. I said, screw it, man, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I mean, luckily I stopped smoking cigarettes. I stopped smoking cigarettes when I started jiu-jitsu. I had to. I knew I had to at least do that. But I didn't stop the drinking, and I didn't stop the pot smoking until later. And and stopped for a while and even went back to it. And then, I've been sober now for, almost a year now. April's coming up. We're in March. So I got almost a year under my belt of sobriety. Yeah. Nope, that's not it. Nope. Yeah. Almost a year of sobriety, people. Almost a year. I know it. I'm proud of me too. And so jiu-jitsu, man, I'm going to go to this tournament today and I'm going to do my best, get out there. But one thing for sure, you will start to see me at the tournaments. I am going to be probably at every single one now. I don't know about every single one. That's a tall order. Let me just say this. I'm going to compete more, and I'm going to sign up at least for the North Americas anytime they're in Cerritos, and maybe for the World Leagues whenever they're in. I think they usually do theirs in Fullerton by Fullerton University near the Hope College. Sometimes they have it at Hope College. I think it's the same group, World League. And I like those two tournaments. And then you know what? This year, this I will commit to. I don't know when it is, but I am going to do the next IBJJF World Championship. They usually have it hosted in Long Beach. I did it as a white belt. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to compete. And I'm going to do that because what else? Why you got to have goals in life. You have to have goals. And you're going to fail at a lot of those goals, But it doesn't matter. You have to try, and you got to go out there and put your best foot forward. You can't worry about what other people think, because somebody's got to lose. Sometimes you're going to win. Sometimes you're going to lose. It's just like in life. Sometimes you win. Sometimes you lose. You're going to find out who your people are along the way. And that's just what it is. So I am going to record my match, hopefully, because sometimes I just get lazy and I don't put up the tripod, and I don't know, things just don't work out sometimes. Because I'm still getting accustomed to being I'm my own cameraman, I'm my own podcast editor, producer, writer, all that stuff. Even though I don't write much, so I'm going to figure that out. And then I'll try to figure out how to, chop it up and put it into the software here so that I could, just go like this and then it'll pop up and you guys will be able to see like my highlights or something like that. Obviously, that's going to take me some time. So that being said, I'm going to go get myself ready for this match. I'm going to go out there and do the very best that I can. And I will see you guys afterwards, probably tomorrow, actually, so that I can tell you guys what happened. Straight up. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to be a beast. I'm going to be a beast no matter what. I'm going to walk out of there with my head high and walk out with it high. Not high, but, just proud of myself. All right, guys. Thank you for watching the show. If you watched the show, and we are out of here. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Share, liking, and subscribing is important. Actually, we still haven't broken double digits, guys. We're trying to break double digits. I got 9 subscribers. 9. We just need one more to break double digits, guys. We could do it. We could do it together. And we're almost there. Let's get ourselves to 10, maybe even 11. All right, guys. All right, man. God bless you all. See you guys after the tournaments, or see you guys tomorrow, whatever it is. And you guys be cool. All right. Hug your wives and children and husbands. And yeah.